the shakeup has officially happened, and, well, let me show you what I mean. So, hold on, not there. So, we currently have just SmackDown with 60 people on the roster. So, we have Alpha, who is one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions, Alba Fire, Alundra Blaze, Apollo Crews, Ashanti the Adonis, Baron Corbin, Blair Davenport, Boogeyman, Braun Breaker, Carlito, Cheek Tormenta, Chris Danger, Chris Sabin, Cody Rhodes, Cora Jade, Devon Dudley, DDP 98, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, El Hijo del Vikingo, who is the Intercontinental Champion, Elite Undertaker, Eric Bischoff, Fallon Henley, Fatu, The Fiend Bray Wyatt 2023, Gunther, High Chief Peter Maivia, Ivar, Jade Cargill, Jamal, Jaron Walker, Jasmine Nix, Joe Casey, who is WWE Champion, Julius Creed, Carl Anderson, Carmen Petrovic, Caden Carter, Kalani Jordan 2023, L.A. Knight, yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage, Mealy Fanny Fan, who is the Women's World Champion, Mosh, Penta, Randy Orton 15, Razor Ramon, Rocky Maivia, Rosie, Sensational Sherry, Seth Freakin' Rollins, Solo Sikoa 22, who is also one half of the Tag Team Champions, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Tegan Knox, Thrasher, Tonga Loa, Triple H 08, Undertaker 98, William Regal, Wolfgang, Ren Sinclair, and Yokozuna. And these 60 were randomized with a random number generator. I had 1 through 384 to determine the roster. And not only that, the champions were randomized. I did the divisions myself. So we have the Mattel Bloodline. Well, hold on here. Let me actually go to the tag teams section. We have Easy 316. They were randomized as a tag team. The Final Princes. Oh, okay, so Easy 316 is Stone Cold and Eric Bischoff. Final Princess is Apollo Crews and Jaron Walker. Fiend Minute Warning is The Fiend 2023 and Jamal. Freakin' Imperium is Seth Rollins and Gunther. Mattel Bloodline is Elite Undertaker, Alpha, and Solo Sikoa. And then Ministry of Bullets is Undertaker 98 and Carl Anderson. So, yeah, this is going to be a very interesting universe mode. So we're just gonna simulate week by week, and we'll probably watch a couple matches here and there. Okay, hold on. Okay, I will be right back. Alright, I just had to get a different drink, and I put it in this cool cup that was designed by my future sister-in-law. Alright. Ministry of Bullets versus Mattel Bloodline. Eric Bischoff versus High Chief Peter Maivia. Alba Fire versus Jasmine Nix. In a promo battle. Rocky Maivia versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt 2023. Mealy Fanny Fan versus Blair Davenport. Baron Corbin and Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus Chris Danger and Yokozuna. Which, those aren't actual tag teams. And Braun Breaker versus Randy Orton. to simulate. So Ministry of Bullets win. Peter Maivia wins. Jasmine Nix wins. The Fiend Bray Wyatt wins. Millie Fanny Fan wins. Danger and Yokozuna win. And Braun Breaker wins. And we are moving on to our first premium live event of the season. Excuse me. For the Intercontinental Championship, DDP 98 versus Haichi Peter Maivia versus El Hijo del Vikingo. We got Ministry of Bullets versus Cody Rhodes versus freaking Imperium and Triple H. Macho Man versus Randy Savage versus Tonga Loa. Match of the night. Fallon Henley versus Millie Fanny Fan for the Women's World Championship. Jasmine Nix and Sensational Sherry versus Tegan Knox and Alba Fire. Rocky Maivia versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt. And Braun Breaker versus Joe Gacy for the WWE Championship. Now, I don't have many women's titles because the randomizer only gave me 15 women. And then I got like 45 men. El Hijo del Vikingo retains. And I swear, these last two updates made some of the loading times slower. The Ministry of Bullets and Cody Rhodes win. Macho Man Randy Savage defeats Tonga Loa. Fallon Henley loses to Millie Fanny Fan. Tegan and Alba defeat Jasmine Nix and Sensational Sherry. The Fiend defeats Rocky Maivia. And Joe Gacy retains the WWE Championship. Razor Ramon versus Triple H. Jasmine Nix versus Alba Fire. Jade Cargill versus Cora Jade. Braun Breaker versus Chris Sabin. Alundra Blaze versus Millie Fanny Fan. LA Knight versus Joe Gacy. And Macho Man Randy Savage versus Randy Orton. Triple H defeats Razor Ramon. Alba Fire wins. Cora Jade wins. Does that make her the superior Jade? I don't know. Braun Breaker defeats Chris Sabin. Alundra Blaze defeats Millie Fanny Fan. LA Knight defeats WWE Champion Joe Gacy. And Macho Man Randy Savage defeats Randy Orton, making him the superior Randy. Oh, excuse me. Ministry of Bullets versus freaking Imperium. Macho Man versus Chris Danger. Sensational Sherry versus Tegan Knox. LA Knight versus Chris Sabin. Cody Rhodes as a promo. Fiend Minute Warning versus EC316. And Razor Ramon versus Elite Undertaker. So, it didn't register the flick of these things. Alright, Ministry of Bullets win. Macho Man wins. Sensational Sherry wins. LA Knight wins. Cody Rhodes had a promo again. Easy 316 win. And Elite Undertaker wins. And we are heading into the King and Queen of the Ring tournament after this episode of SmackDown. Elite Undertaker versus Yokozuna. Jasmine Nix and Sensational Sherry versus Alba Fire and Tegan Knox. Alundra Blaze and Cora Jade versus Kalani Jordan 23 and Millie Fanny Fan. Triple H 08 versus Tonga Loa, Fallon Henley versus Cheek Tormenta, Brent Sinclair versus Jade Cargill, and Cody Rhodes versus Braun Breaker. Elite Undertaker wins. Elbow Fire and Tegan Knox win. Alundra Blaze and Cora Jade win. Tonga Loa defeats Triple H. Put all the titles on him. Fallon Henley defeats Cheek Tormenta. Jade Cargill wins. And Braun Breaker wins. And now, the King of the Ring tournament. Never mind, it's the Queen of the Ring tournament. Alright, Kalani Jordan versus Jade Cargill, Ren Sinclair versus Alundra Blaze, Kaden Carter versus Carmen Petrovic, and Cora Jade versus Blair Davenport. So, Jade Cargill moves on. Ren Sinclair moves on. Carmen Petrovic moves on. Cora Jade moves on. Ren Sinclair defeats Jade Cargill. Carmen Petrovic defeats Cora Jade. So neither of the Jades made it. And Ren Sinclair gets the title shot at SummerSlam. And then the King of the Ring tournament. Mosh versus Elite Undertaker. Baron Corbin versus Randy Orton. Chris Sabin versus Razor Ramon. And Rosie versus DDP. Elite Undertaker moves on. Randy Orton moves on. Razor Ramon moves on, and DDP moves on. Elite Undertaker beats Randy. Razor Ramon defeats DDP, and Elite Undertaker gets the title shot at SummerSlam. If we get Elite Undertaker versus Joe Gacy, we are watching that. Cody Rhodes versus Chris Danger, LA Knight versus Joe Gacy, Cora and Alundra versus Fallon and Ren, Macho Man versus Tonga Loa, Tegan and Alba versus Jasmine and Sherry, Triple H versus Rocky Maivia, and Elite Undertaker versus Randy Orton. Cody wins. Joe Gacy wins. Cora and Alundra win. Tonga Loa wins. Tegan and Alba win. Rocky Maivia wins. And Elite Undertaker wins. And up next is SmackDown. Elite Undertaker versus Tonga Loa. Sign me up. Macho Man versus Rocky Maivia. Still the same tag rivalry between Tegan and Alba, as well as Sherry and Jasmine Nix. Freaking Imperium versus Ministry of Bullets. Jade Cargill, Cora Jade, and Carmen Petrovic in a triple threat. Fiend Minute Warning and Easy 316. And then Braun Breaker and Cody Rhodes. Elite Undertaker defeats Tonga Loa. Rocky Maivia defeats Randy Savage. Sherry and Jasmine Nix win. Freaking Imperium wins. Jade Cargill wins. EC316 wins. And there's a draw between Braun Breaker and Cody Rhodes. You know, I'm curious about what went on there. Cody rushed the ring and unloaded with a frustrated attack against Braun Breaker. The referee could not control the superstars and called off the match as the brawling continued. The result of the superstar being pushed too far by his rival. Well, that means at Clash at the Castle, we're for sure getting Braun Breaker and Cody Rhodes. Elite Undertaker versus Macho Man. Freaking Imperium versus Ministry of Bullets. Jasmine Nix and Sensational Sherry versus Alba Fire and Tegan Knox. LA Knight versus Razor Ramon. Jade Cargill versus Kalani Jordan versus Carmen Petrovic. Triple H versus Rocky Maivia. And Cody Rhodes versus Yokozuna. Macho Man wins. Ministry of Bullets win. Jasmine and Sherry win. Razor Ramon wins. Kalani Jordan wins. Triple H wins. And Cody Rhodes wins. And we are moving on to Clash at the Castle in Scotland. Ooh, a steel cage match between Cody and Braun. The tag team titles are on the line with Jamal and the Fiend Bray Wyatt taking on Alpha and Solo Sikoa. Jasmine Nix and Sensational Sherry versus Tegan Knox and Alpha Fire. High Chief Peter Maivia gets a one-on-one title shot against El Hijo del Vikingo. Jade Cargill versus Kalani Jordan. Cora Jade gets a title shot against Mealy Fanny Fan. And LA Knight gets a title shot against Joe Gacy. I mean, are there any matches on this card that would be intriguing to watch? I mean, yeah, maybe the Intercontinental Championship match. Alright, Cody Rhodes defeats Braun Breaker. Alpha and Solo retain. Tegan and Alba win. And I think this would be a great way to see if the 1.18 update actually causes issues with created superstars and their logos.
The mood just feels automatically better now that the High Chief is here.
People love to see the High Chief in the arena.
Listen to the people and how excited they are that the High Chief is in the building.
I wasn't going to say anything, but these people clearly don't know how to conduct themselves around royalty. Maivia loves the energy of the crowd. It gets him pumped up.
You know, I might watch like one match every other pay-per-view or PLE or whatever you want to call it. Or maybe I'll just skip a few. Because sometimes these universe mode videos take forever to film.
There is only one High Chief. And these days, many claim a right to the throne, but we are looking at the man who created it.
And I don't feel like skipping to every PLE would be fun.
Here he comes.
I was about to say, why is Baron Corbin in the match? Okay, things are looking pretty good for him. Because I tested him out during a... Well, I mean, I've watched some of the matches with this created superstar. Before the update, I had a...
I know the champ has looked good as of late, but I'd say the opposition has looked just
as I was saying, I've seen some of his matches during a Cruiserweight Classic, because I reintroduced the Cruiserweight Championship to my lineup of championships in my own spare time. And he didn't win. In fact, I think I can tell you who he got eliminated by. What I do remember that the final four was the one who won it all, Octagon Jr. There was also Noam Dar, Rey Mysterio, and I Show Speed. Which well, the reason why Speed was in the tournament was because I love to randomize things. So I randomized like 32 people into one tournament. There were names like Chad Gable, Charlie Dempsey, Chase, I Show Speed, Mr. Iguana, El Grande Americano, Chris Danger. But anyway, El Hijo del Vikingo got eliminated by Chosen in the second round. So I saw two of his matches.
For over 40 years, the WWE's best have competed for this title.
Winning the Intercontinental title has been a major milestone in some Hall of Fame careers, and well, it could be just that again here tonight.
Turn things around to the waistlock from behind. Able to escape and down into a headlock.
Oh yeah, I don't think this one had too many images used.
Collar and elbow tie.
So I think he's all good.
Showing strength here, driving them into the ropes.
In fact, there's not that many custom stars in this universe.
Boom, impact. Had it scouted. Now can capitalize. Calculating the next move here. Can't prepare your face for that. Early cover for the title. Forces the shoulder up. He needs a little more than that to end things this early. Locking up with one another.
Working their way out and wrenching it to a side headlock.
Man, so many lockups happening in this match.
To lock in a top wrist lock.
Slips out with the counter and able to apply the hammerlock.
Oh my god. So,
Switching it up.
I... So I just opened up Instagram for just a split moment. And one of the first things I see, WWE is is reportedly planning a big match between Jelly Roll and Logan Paul at SummerSlam.
Yeah, Peter Maivia broke him down there.
Peter Maivia just rubbing it in now.
It'll be a tag team match.
Maivia may be taking high risk. From the heavens.
Wait, so then who is Logan Paul going to team with, and who is Jelly Roll going to team up with?
Outside.
That is kicking things into a whole new gear. Going for the pin. Title on the line. Kick out before the count.
Still has a great amount of fight in them. Not going to let it end like this.
Pretty drop kick.
Clutching the wrist. And look at it.
How humiliating. Just kicks to the face.
Hey, who do you guys have winning this match?
Leg of his opponent and an elbow. Oh my God! Springboard moonsault! Wow! The challenger really taking it on the chin here. Oh, good God! Reverse hurricane.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an easy win for El Hijo del Vikingo.
Yeah, no, he doesn't get the three. Good Lord, scarily close to three. Oh, look at this impact. Double knees.
Ooh.
That is how a true champion defends their title. 2. He's still in this fight.
Yeah, because Vikingo still has resiliency.
Here it comes, legendary.
Out of the way, ref.
This is real bad.
Goga Plana is locked in, and he breaks his own submission.
That's one of my problems with this game. The ref always gets in the way of the camera.
Springboard, springboard.
Hey, you might want to try that from either this side or the side closest to the announce table. And Vikingo gets the win.
Legacy.
Here is your winner, and still WWE Intercontinental Champion, the Viking.
Alright. So then we have a problem with the loading. So then let's simulate all the way through. Kalani Jordan loses to Jade Cargill, and Fanny retains. Yeah, we're not editing matches. And then we're gonna random. Joe Gacy retains. And people on Reddit said that this was going to be cursed. In fact, I can find the exact comment. Oh, LA Knight versus Triple H versus Macho Man. Cheek Tormenta versus Sensational Sherry. Fanny versus Jasmine Nix. Razor Ramon versus Joe Gacy. Apollo Crews versus Undertaker 98. Alpha and Solo. Well, let's just say Mattel Bloodline versus freaking Imperium versus Easy 316. And then Cody Rhodes versus Elite Undertaker versus Braun Breaker versus Chris Danger. Look, I'd be down to watch that match, but I don't want to watch it for hours. Okay, the comment that I found was by Creepy Pagan. It said, "This doesn't feel right to me. It makes me feel uncomfortable on a cellular level. Like a hole has been ripped in the Matrix, and I've only got one sock on." But Triple H wins. Sensational Sherry wins. Fanny wins. Joe Gacy wins. Undertaker 98 wins. Easy 316 get the win over the tag champs. And freaking Imperium. And Elite Undertaker wins. Hold on, so has anyone won a title yet? Well, I mean, like, have any of the titles changed hands? No. Ooh, Money in the Bank is up next. After this episode of SmackDown. Joe Gacy versus Triple H. Cheek Tormenta versus Alba Fire. Hayden Carter versus Jasmine Nix. Razor Ramon versus LA Knight. Fanny versus Renan Sinclair. Carl Anderson versus Jaron Walker. And Cody Rhodes versus Macho Man. And Joe Gacy defeats Triple H. Alba Fire wins. Caden Carter wins. Razor Ramon wins. Brent Sinclair wins. Jaron Walker wins. And Cody Rhodes wins. Now, who's going to be in each Money in the Bank ladder match? Alright, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match kicks off the show. Kalani Jordan, Ren Sinclair, Alundra Blaze, Carmen Petrovic, Fallon Henley, Cora Jade, Jasmine Nix, and Tegan Knox. DDP 98 takes on El Hijo del Vikingo for the Intercontinental Championship. Blair Davenport takes on Fanny for the Women's World Championship. Final Princes versus Ministry of Bullets. Chris Danger versus Joe Gacy for the WWE Championship. Jade and Cheek versus... Well, Cargill and Cheek Tormenta versus Alba Fire and Sensational Sherry. Cody Rhodes versus Braun Breaker. Jamal and The Fiend versus Alpha and Solo Sikoa for the tag titles. And then, Rocky Maivia, Macho Man Randy Savage, Razor Ramon, Elite Undertaker, who already has a title shot at SummerSlam, Triple H, LA Knight, Randy Orton, and Penta for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Oh yeah, doesn't Ren Sinclair also have a title shot? Well, it doesn't say for some reason. Hold on. Okay, well, never mind. I'm not even gonna check. Carmen Petrovic gets the win and is Miss Money in the Bank. El Hijo del Vikingo retains. Fanny retains. Ministry of Bullets win. Chris Danger is the new WWE Champion, and he'll take on Elite Undertaker at SummerSlam. Alba Fire and Sensational Sherry win. Cody Rhodes defeats Braun Breaker. Alpha and Solo retain, and Elite Undertaker is Mr. Money in the Bank. I mean, to be fair, this would be a very awesome lineup for a ladder match. Doesn't have to be Money in the Bank. But anyway, we're on the road to the first two-night SummerSlam. Razor Ramon versus LA Knight. Alba and Sensational Sherry versus Kalani Jordan and Alundra Blaze. Fanny versus Carmen Petrovic. Non-title. El Hijo del Vikingo versus Boogeyman. Caden Carter versus Ren Sinclair. Stone Cold versus Carl Anderson. And Joe Gacy versus Elite Undertaker. LA Knight wins. Kalani and Alundra win. Fanny beats Miss Money in the Bank. And I clarified that this one was non-title because she wasn't cashing in. El Hijo del Vikingo beats Boogeyman. Caden Carter wins. Carl Anderson wins. And Elite Undertaker wins. Cody Rhodes versus LA Knight. William Regal versus Devon Dudley versus El Hijo del Vikingo. Stone Cold versus Undertaker. Elite Undertaker versus Triple H versus Razor Ramon versus Joe Gacy. Caden Carter versus Cora Jade. Mattel Bloodline versus Final Princes. And Jade Cargill and Cheek Tormenta versus Sensational Sherry and Alba Fire. LA Knight wins. El Hijo del Vikingo wins. Stone Cold wins. Elite Undertaker wins. Caden Carter wins. Mattel Bloodline wins. And Jade Cargill and Cheek Tormento win. There we go. Ooh, Razor Ramon versus Elite Undertaker. The same women's tag team match. Alundra Blaze versus Caden Carter. El Hijo del Vikingo versus DDP 98. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Undertaker 98. Alpha and Soul. Oh yeah, Mattel Bloodline versus Final Princes. I gotta keep just calling them by their tag team names, so I don't forget. And Cody Rhodes versus LA Knight. Elite Undertaker wins. Jade Cargill and Cheek Tormento win. Alundra Blaze wins. El Hijo del Vikingo wins. Stone Cold wins. Mattel Bloodline wins. And LA Knight wins. And we are on the go-home show to SummerSlam. Cheek Tormento and Alba Fire in a promo. El Hijo del Vikingo versus Baron Corbin. Randy Orton versus Chris Sabin. Razor Ramon versus Macho Man versus LA Knight. Kalani Jordan versus Carmen Petrovic versus Cora Jade versus Ren Sinclair. A promo between Undertaker 98 and Stone Cold. And then Elite Undertaker versus Joe Gacy. Cheek Tormento wins the promo. El Hijo del Vikingo wins. Randy Orton wins. LA Knight wins. Kalani Jordan wins. Stone Cold wins the promo. And Elite Undertaker wins. And night 1 of SummerSlam. Jamal... Wait, hold on. Fiend Minute Warning versus Mattel Bloodline for the tag titles. Braun Breaker versus Triple H versus Penta. Yokozuna versus Joe Gacy. LA Knight versus Randy Orton. Kalani Jordan versus Caden Carter versus Fallon Henley. Final Princess versus Freaking Imperium. And then Peter Maivia versus DDP 98 versus El Hijo del Vikingo for the Intercontinental Championship. I'm gonna wait until night 2 to see. Mattel Bloodline retains the titles. Triple H wins against Penta and Braun Breaker. Joe Gacy wins. LA Knight wins. Caden Carter wins. Freaking Imperium wins. And El Hijo del Vikingo retains. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Undertaker 98. Jade Cargill and Cheek Tormenta versus Alba Fire and Sensational Cherry for the, I don't know, 5th, maybe 6th week in a row. Okay, Rocky Maivia versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio. I don't know why Tegan Nox is getting the title shot, but she's facing Mealy Fanny Fan. Alundra Blaze versus Blair Davenport. Cody Rhodes versus Tonga Loa. And Elite Undertaker versus Chris Danger. That's the match I'm watching. Well, we're watching. Come on. Stone Cold Steve Austin defeats Undertaker 98. Jade Cargill and Cheek Tormento win. Dirty Dominic Mysterio wins. Tegan Nox is the new Women's World Champion. Congratulations, but it really shouldn't have been her because she wasn't the #1 contender. Alundra Blaze wins, Cody Rhodes wins, and now Chris Danger versus Elite Undertaker. Oh, I'm just realizing we're gonna see him enter with the Money in the Bank briefcase. God, it's gonna look so weird. Even though when I was younger, I've had The Undertaker win Money in the Bank with my figures.
It's a big-time opportunity, Byron, as the title will be on the line here.
You're right, Michael, and judging from the response on social media heading into this match, we're likely to see a new champ crowned here tonight.
And there was one point I had The Undertaker walk into the main event of WrestleMania as World Heavyweight Champion, and he took on the United States Champion. I forgot who it was, but Undertaker walked out with both titles.
Trending on social media, the challenger knows he has a good chance of becoming champion tonight.
Like, it was Deadman Undertaker. It just felt so wrong.
I am pumped for this guy.
Well, I mean, it feels wrong now. Alright, Chris Danger is looking pretty Chris Danger-like.
Here we go, gentlemen. Huge title match coming up. And a huge opportunity for the champ to prove to everyone that there truly is none better in all of WWE right now.
You know, since we're on the topic of cause, I wish we had 200 spots. And then an increase in image numbers.
He may be moments away from resting in peace.
Because I have another video idea that I want to film, but I don't have enough people. Well, actually, I have a couple videos that I want to film. However, like, I'll spoil one of the video ideas. It's a WWE Champion tournament where all 55 former WWE Champions are in this one tournament. So then, I can't find any Bob Backlund created wrestlers, which is honestly a surprise. I would have at least expected maybe 1, 2. And there's one Pedro Morales that's not even Pedro Morales. Like, someone just made a generic call of a white guy and named him Pedro Morales.
With this championship title in play, you can expect this match to be something special.
Like, I don't have a picture of the created wrestler that someone made. However, I can show you what Pedro Morales looks like. Well, I'm sorry, looked like.
Driving the elbow.
This was Pedro Morales.
To reverse it. Big running leg drop.
They had the gear right.
And look at this now, yes, applying the submission hold. Getting to the ropes and luckily getting out of this submission.
But they gave him like an 8-pack,
Big move followed up.
which this guy was more,
Overzealous going with a pin attempt there.
oh, well, I would say
And a reversal from the
on the
Undertaker.
borderline of
The Undertaker
having a
the toughest
6-pack.
superstar to ever step
Well,
foot
not
in the
really a
ring.
6-pack,
With a
but
list of victims a mile long. I can't imagine how intimidating it must be to have to stand across the ring from him.
Yeah, but you can't let the intimidation get to you when you're already in the ring.
I don't know, he had
Otherwise, you've already lost. Teed off. Hard for the champ
like
to
a
have
medium
answer. The
build,
strikes are being rained down on you. Hug across the back of the neck. Our champ is looking slightly rattled now. Yeah, the Undertaker.
and they didn't make him look Puerto Rican.
Put down face first.
And he throws the opposition back into the ring.
Oh man.
I'm sorry if I offended anyone by assuming looks of Puerto Ricans,
The dead man is now taking
but
command. A series of
this call was not accurate at all, except for the gear. And I would make one, but I don't know how to make good created wrestlers. That's why I always download some. And
And now Undertaker's championship can do all the talking.
man, I spent this whole match just talking about how bad a created wrestler looks. You know what? I have an idea. So I'm going to see if I can show you without the game deciding to be mean. Like, I don't have him downloaded. I would have to go to Community Creations. So downloads. Okay, and let's see. Okay, well, he would be up here a bit more. Yeah, Pedro Morales. I found a really good Stan Stasiak. Yeah, see. Okay, now that I'm looking at the gear a bit more, it doesn't look that accurate. And then Bob Backlund. Let's see if anyone actually uploaded one now. Nope, no one. So that video is going to take a lot longer to make than I was expecting. I mean, to be fair, it would have to be like a few episodes because it would have to be like 11 fatal 5-ways. And then like I'd have to figure out an 11-person bracket. But anyway, let's just focus on this video. Mattel Bloodline versus freaking Imperium. Jordan versus Blaze versus Tormenta versus Nyx. Cora Jade versus Sensational Sherry. AC316 versus Ministry of Bullets. Kaden Carter versus Tegan Knox. Carmen Petrovic versus Jade Cargill versus Millie Fanny Fan. And Dirty Dom versus the Elite Undertaker. Mattel Bloodline wins. Alundra Blaze wins. Sensational Sherry wins. Ministry of Bullets win. Tegan Knox wins. Jade Cargill wins. And Elite Undertaker wins. And honestly, this video is probably the most I've ever said bullets in one day. Elite Undertaker versus Tongaloa. Alundra Blaze versus Sensational Sherry versus Colony Jordan. Cora Jade versus Tegan Knox. Carl Anderson versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Blair Davenport versus Fallon Henley. Cheek Tormenta versus Kaden Carter. And Cody Rhodes versus LA Knight. Elite Undertaker beats Tongaloa. Alundra Blaze wins. Tegan Knox wins. Stone Cold wins. Fallon Henley wins. Jake Tormenta wins. And Cody Rhodes wins. Bastion Berlin is almost here. Excuse me. Man, my voice starting... Oh, my throat's starting to hurt. But to be fair, I filmed a video yesterday. I filmed a YouTube short today. I'm filming this. And I have to stream later. So... hopefully this weekend I can kind of rest my voice. Wait, no, not really, because sometime this weekend I want to try to film a video where I make ice cream. Plus there's NXT Great American Bash, Saturday Night's Main Event, and Evolution. Alright, but anyway. Elite Undertaker versus Joe Gacy. Triple H versus Rocky Maivia versus Macho Man. Alundra Blaze and Kaden Carter versus Sensational Sherry and Colony Jordan versus Fallon Henley and Ren Sinclair. Mattel Bloodline versus freaking Imperium. Tegan Knox versus Cheek Tormenta. Oh, excuse me. Carl Anderson. I know, it's Ministry of Bullets versus EZ316, and then Cody Rhodes versus LA Knight. Elite Undertaker wins. Triple H wins. Sensational Sherry and Colony Jordan wins. Freaking Imperium wins. Cheek Tormenta wins. Ministry of Bullets wins. And Cody Rhodes wins. You know, Ministry of Bullets have been on quite the roll. When are they getting a title shot? Alright, High Chief Peter Maivia takes on El Hijo del Vikingo for the Intercontinental Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Yokozuna. Sensational Sherry, Alba Fire, and Colony Jordan versus Cheek Tormenta, Blair Davenport, and Carmen Petrovic. Alundra Blaze versus Tegan Knox for the Women's World Title. Ministry of Bullets versus EZ316. Jamal and The Fiend take on... Fiend Minute Warning versus Mattel Bloodline. I swear, they don't even compete on the weekly episodes of SmackDown. They just show up at the PLE and they get title shots. And then Dirty Dom versus Elite Undertaker in a no-holds-barred match. Now I want to see this. El Hijo del Vikingo retains. Yokozuna wins. Sherry Fire and Jordan win. Tegan Knox retains. Ministry of Bullets win. Mattel Bloodline retains. And now I want to watch Dominic Mysterio versus Elite Undertaker. I mean, it's no holds barred.
The following contest is a no-holds-barred match.
So this could go either way.
The WWE Championship.
Here comes the ultimate third-generation superstar, the true future of Lucha Libre. And come on, look at this piece of human garbage. He's mighty pleased with himself already. Oh, come on, Cole, you'd be pleased too if you lived the life of Dirty Dom. No doubt that Dom has the skill to stand on his own. He doesn't need to keep dragging his father's name through the mud.
You know, if you guys missed out on the Bloodline Olympics series, then you would know Dirty Dom has what it takes to be WWE champion.
Dom has put work in to reach this level, but he's still a slime ball.
Because he defeated guys like The Rock, Randy Orton, and some other guys. Alright, and then let's see the entrance.
It's Mr. Money in the Bank. Here we go, gentlemen. Huge title match coming up.
And a huge opportunity for the champ to prove to everyone that there truly is none.
God, this
in all
looks
of
so
WWE.
cursed. The Undertaker with the Money in the Bank briefcase and the WWE Championship. Like, just once, I would like to see, like, Mr. Money in the Bank
Social media
carry a world title
when this competitor defends
while
his title.
still being Mr. Money in the Bank. Like, we would have to go back to the old days of having a SmackDown Money in the Bank briefcase and a Raw Money in the Bank briefcase. Unless John Cena versus Seth Rollins, Money in the Bank briefcase on the line. John Cena wins it. Then he goes on to cash in on Gunther, wins the world title, and then takes them both home.
200 pounds. Dirty Dominic Mysterio. And his opponent from Death Valley.
Oh yeah, but yeah, if you couldn't tell, I'm a John Cena fan.
The WWE Champion.
I got the spinner belt right here.
Undertaker.
I got the last time is now towel. There's also a John Cena figure up there on my wall. I got like 12 more in a giant tote. Oh yeah, I got one hanging all the way up there because I got it from like a thrift store. You know what? I want to show you guys that one. So it's a yeah, I think that's a Seen Enough one, or like just a patriotic version. Okay, we're good. Oh, speaking of John Cena.
Dominic Mysterio approach.
Is there a way out of this, STF?
Yes, there is. Couple elbows will do the job.
Come on, Dom Dom. I believe in you. Win the title so Undertaker can cash in at some point. You know, I find it funny how even the action figure Undertaker has weight detection. Like, I know it's the Undertaker, but they're implying. Oh, excuse me, that is pretty much just the Undertaker with an Undertaker figure, like, shell. If that makes any sense. Instead of him just being, like, just a sentient, life-size action figure. Like, action figures don't weigh too much. Now, if you made one that's man-sized, I don't think it would even weigh close to 300 pounds. Like, at most, it'd probably be, like, maybe 50 pounds. Like, depending on how much plastic they use. Okay, that would have been sick. That was smart from Dom. One. Nope, just the one count.
Still has the energy for a quick kick out.
One, two.
What a display of stamina. The champ showing they're truly worthy of his title. But things might only get harder from here. And it may just take going to the well one more time with that maneuver to gain the pinfall. Insults have been hurled both in person and online, but now
Oh no, last ride.
it's been a long time coming, and the WWE Universe has been looking forward to it almost as eagerly as these superstars.
Their rivalry certainly has
One,
turned into a
two,
must-see match.
oh,
So close.
okay, I guess that was barely a 2 count.
The dead man. Turns it around. Punch right in the head.
Wait, if I'm not mistaken, action figures can bleed in this game, right?
Has to find a way out of this. Right to the throat. The challenger really struggling to avoid major damage.
Every aspect of your toughness gets tested in a lengthy match, mental and physical. I guarantee that chair is on the top.
You guys already got tables. Well, you got a table.
Oh, yeah, that's got it. Undertaker had that scouted.
Schoolboy! Shoulders are down!
1, 2.
Retains. No. Challenger kicks out.
What do you have to do to put this guy away?
In full control here. Face full of turnbuckle. And that prevents Undertaker's attack.
Alright, Dom has a finisher.
Dominic perched on top. From the top. You gotta be kidding me.
Soaring through the sky and crashing.
Oh yeah, it's just a no-holds-barred match.
And he gets set back into the ring. No clue what he hopes to find down there.
I don't know why, but for a second I was thinking, it's falls count anywhere, right?
Title in the balance with the pin.
I don't think a hockey shot is gonna count.
Barely escapes the pin.
Well,
Obviously
it's
still has
gonna
some
get the count. I
left.
don't.
Might be
I
going
don't know.
high
I
risk
don't
here.
know.
Uh-oh. Oh my God, what a move.
Being sized up, he might regret getting back up here. Right across the larynx.
I don't know. Undertaker has a finisher. Ain't.
The dead man lining up his next victim moments away. The time has arrived to rest in peace. Tombstone.
The champ.
Yeah, I don't think Dom is at a high enough
Taking advantage
overall to have resiliency. Oh.
Champion retains.
Here is your winner, and still WWE Champion.
Man, that was a much better match than Chris Danger versus Elite Undertaker. Oh, excuse me. You know, and I just got a notification from Life360 that my sister's boyfriend's phone is at 10%. It's only 2. You know, I just saw where they're at, and I'm intrigued. Now, I'm not going to mention the name of the restaurant because I'm not sure how many there are in the US. It might be the only one, and I don't want to dox my location or their location or anything. Even though this video is going to be coming out in about a month from filming. Well, no, not even that. It'd just be a couple weeks. Okay. But still. Anyway. I'm getting off topic too much. Alright. Freaking Imperium. Ministry of Bullets and Mattel Bloodline. A Fiend Minute Warning has a match on SmackDown. I just had to call them out about it. But yeah, they're taking on the Final Princes, Alundra Blaze versus Alba Fire, Yokozuna and Cody Rhodes versus Ashanti the Adonis and Macho Man Randy Savage. So we have 3 former WWE champions and a former member of Hit Row. Tonga Loa versus Chris Sabin, El Hijo del Vikingo versus William Regal, and Elite Undertaker versus Triple H versus Randy Orton. Freaking Imperium wins. Final Princess win. Alundra Blaze wins. Yokozuna and Cody Rhodes wins. Chris Sabin wins. El Hijo del Vikingo wins. And Elite Undertaker wins. And I think we're on the road to Bad Blood. Alundra Blaze versus Jade Cargill. DDP versus Fatu. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, he is on the roster. It's just been a while since I've actually seen him. Oh yeah, Fatu versus DDP. Jordan and Sinclair versus Petrovic and Jade. Elite Undertaker versus Chris Sabin. Sherry versus Tormenta. El Hijo del Vikingo versus Devon Dudley. EC316 versus The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and Ashanti the Adonis. In the main event. I just hope. Okay, all the teams are the same. So Jade Cargill wins. DDP wins. Kalani Jordan and Ren Sinclair win. Elite Undertaker wins. Sensational Sherry wins. El Hijo del Vikingo wins. And EZ316 wins. Elite Undertaker versus Penta. Oh my god. Imagine Penta versus Prime Undertaker. That would be awesome. LA Knight versus Rocky Maivia versus Chris Danger. Brent Sinclair and Carmen Petrovic versus Melee Fanny Fan and Jasmine Nix. El Hijo del Vikingo versus DDP. Kalani Jordan versus Cheek Tormenta. Alundra Blaze has a promo with Tegan Knox. And then EZ316 versus Cody Rhodes and Yokozuna. Elite Undertaker continues his reign of dominance. LA Knight wins. Ren and Carmen win. El Hijo wins. Cheek Tormenta wins. Tegan Knox wins the promo, and EZ316 wins. I think we have 2 more SmackDowns before Bad Blood. I could be wrong about that. Elite Undertaker versus LA Knight versus Triple H. El Hijo del Vikingo versus Carlito. Sensational Sherry versus Cheek Tormenta. Mattel Bloodline versus Freakin' Imperium. Final Princess versus Fiend Minute Warning. Another promo between Alundra Blaze and Tegan Knox. And then Eric Bischoff versus Cody Rhodes in the main event. My goodness, that's like John Cena versus John Laurinaitis. Elite Undertaker wins. You know what? Let's make this interesting. If Eric Bischoff wins, I'm giving him an Intercontinental title shot. El Hijo del Vikingo wins. Sensational Sherry wins. Freakin' Imperium wins. Final Princess win. Tegan Knox wins the promo, and Cody Rhodes defeats Eric Bischoff. Okay, yeah, this is the go-home show before Bad Blood. Once again, Elite Undertaker versus Penta. El Hijo del Vikingo versus Carlito. Sensational Sherry and Carmen Petrovic versus Ren Sinclair and Melee Fanny Fan. They don't know what to do with the women's division. Mattel Bloodline versus Freakin' Imperium. Tonga Loa versus Dirty Dom versus Chris Danger. Take my money. A third promo in a row between Alundra Blaze and Tegan Knox. And then EZ316 versus LA Knight and Randy Orton. Elite Undertaker defeats Penta once again. El Hijo del Vikingo wins. Sensational Sherry and Carmen Petrovic wins. Freaking Imperium wins. Dirty Dom wins. Tegan Knox once again wins the promo. And EC316 pick up the win. Alright, Bad Blood. Alundra Blaze versus Tegan Knox for the Women's World Championship. Don't know why Cody and Yokozuna are teaming up. Yeah, I still have the 6 teams I started off with. But yeah, Yokozuna and Cody are facing EC316. Joe Gacy versus Braun Breaker. El Hijo del Vikingo once again defending against Peter Maivia. Dirty Dom versus Macho Man Randy Savage. There we go. The Ministry of Bullets gets a title shot against Mattel Bloodline. And LA Knight versus Elite Undertaker. Tegan Knox retains her Women's World Championship. EC316 beat Yokozuna and Cody Rhodes. Braun Breaker defeats Joe Gacy. High Chief Peter Maivia is the new Intercontinental Champion. Randy Savage defeats Dominic Mysterio. Mattel Bloodline retains, and Elite Undertaker retains. And now we have a very long road until Survivor Series. Okay, hold on. Well, let's see. Yeah, there's 7. Yeah, let's add a Saturday night's main event here. Just so we don't go 7 weeks without title matches. In fact, speaking of titles, hold on, I actually need to go here. Yeah, they still have the briefcases. Everybody, Elite Undertaker versus Macho Man, Thrasher versus High Chief Peter Maivia, Carmen Petrovic versus Alba Fire versus Blair Davenport, Jade Cargill versus Sensational Sherry, Rocky Maivia versus Chris Sabin, Alundra Blaze versus Cora Jade, Yokozuna and Cody Rhodes versus EZ316. Alright, that was the main event. Hold on. What are the rivalries? Why are you guys in a rivalry? Well, Elite Undertaker just keeps winning. Thrasher wins. Alba Fire wins. Jade Cargill wins. Chris Sabin wins. Alundra Blaze wins. And Cody and Yoko win. Okay, still no cash-ins. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to set up a cash-in. I'm gonna see if they'll actually do it themselves. Elite Undertaker versus Braun Breaker, Chris Danger versus Penta, Mosh versus Thrasher. Hold on, do I actually have them both on the roster? Yeah, there's Mosh. And there's Thrasher. Oh my god. Alundra Blaze versus Ren Sinclair. Chris Sabin versus Rocky Maivia. Sensational Sherry and Jade Cargill versus Alba Fire and Kalani Jordan. And then Stone Cold, Easy 316 versus I can't think of a team name for them. Because all of the team names I came up with, besides freaking Imperium, are kind of bad. I don't know, the Banzai Nightmares? Elite Undertaker beats Braun Breaker. Penta wins. Mosh wins. Ren Sinclair wins. Chris Sabin wins. Sensational Sherry and Jade Cargill win. And then Cody and Yoko win. Tegan Knox versus Cora Jade. Ren Sinclair and Jade Cargill versus Sensational Sherry and Cheek Tormenta. Who the frick is Jake the Snake Roberts aligned with? Alba Fire versus Kalani Jordan. Cody Rhodes versus Stone Cold. Kaden Carter versus Melee Fanny Fan versus Jasmine Nix. Fallon Henley versus Blair Davenport. And Mattel Bloodline versus Seth Rollins. Versus a freaking Imperium. Tegan Knox wins. Okay, Sensational Sherry and Cheek Tormento win. Kalani Jordan wins. Cody Rhodes wins. Melee Fanny Fan wins. Fallon Henley wins. And Mattel Bloodline wins. And then I'll have to take a break from filming right after this show because my mom's on her way home. And I'm gonna go practice some driving. We had Tegan Knox versus Alundra Blaze for the Women's World Championship. Yokozuna and Cody Rhodes versus Stone Cold. Easy 316. Rocky Maivia versus Undertaker 98. El Hijo del Vikingo gets his rematch versus High Chief Peter Maivia. Like The Miz said, how many moments do you two get? Dirty Dom versus Triple H. Freaking Imperium versus Mattel Bloodline. And LA Knight versus Elite Undertaker. You know, how am I just realizing that the Mattel Bloodline, like, all three members have titles. They're my only faction, and they all have titles. But yeah, Tegan Knox retains. Easy 316 wins. Undertaker 98 wins. High Chief Peter Maivia retains. Triple H wins. Mattel Bloodline retains. And LA Knight, yeah, is the new WWE champion. Alrighty. So, I know it won't be a while for you guys, but I'll be back in a while to continue filming. Alright. I am back from going on a little drive. And I got caribou. Not a sponsor, but they have really good hot chocolate. Like, I got mine with oat milk, marshmallows, and like half a shot of maple. It is really good. But anyway. Chris Danger versus Cody Rhodes. Banger. Fiend Minute Warning versus Easy 316. I think that'd be decent. Well, I mean, pretty good if Eric Bischoff doesn't enter the match. Fallon Henley versus Cheek Tormenta. Tonga Loa versus Triple H. If Tonga Loa beats Triple H again, give him all the titles. Alpha has a sell promo. Joe Gacy versus Razor Ramon. And then Yokozuna versus Elite Undertaker versus Chris Sabin versus L.A. Knight. Yeah. But anyway, Chris Danger wins. Easy 316 wins. Fallon Henley wins. Tonga Loa gets another win over Triple H. Alpha had a good promo. Razor Ramon wins, and Elite Undertaker wins. And I just realized something. At the previous Saturday Night's Main Event, like on this universe mode, we've had more title changes than any real life title changes in the past couple events. And no, I don't count the and the women's US title being crowned. That is crowning a new champion, not a title switching hands. Alright, Jade Cargill versus Alundra Blaze, Mosh versus Carlito, Kalani Jordan versus Melee Fanny Fan, Tegan Knox versus Alba Fire, Sensational Sherry versus Ren Sinclair, Easy 316 versus Final Princes, Solo Sikoa versus Carl Anderson is the main event. Well, you couldn't pick a better main event, respectfully? Jade Cargill wins. Mosh wins. Fanny wins. Alba Fire wins. Sensational Sherry wins. Easy 316 wins. And Solo Sikoa wins. Alright. And now we have Mattel Bloodline versus Ministry of Bullets, Tonga Loa versus Joe Gacy, Fallon Henley versus Jasmine Nix, a match I never would have expected to see. AC316 versus Fiend Minute Warning, Kalani Jordan and Alundra Blaze versus Jade Cargill and Kaden Carter, High Chief Peter Maivia versus Mosh, and Yokozuna versus Elite Undertaker. Ministry of Bullets wins, Tonga Loa wins, Jasmine Nix wins, EC316 wins, Jordan and Blaze wins, Intercontinental Champion Peter Maivia wins, and the Elite Undertaker wins. Hold on, so... Wait. Championships. I'm not editing divisions. I just want to see where Tonga Loa is. Only 13th? I feel like he should be higher. He beat Triple H twice. And we are at we are almost at Survivor Series. Elite Undertaker versus Tonga Loa. EC316 versus Freakin' Imperium. Tegan Knox versus Jasmine Nix. Chris Sabin versus Cody Rhodes. Chris Danger versus Rocky Maivia. Peter Maivia versus... I keep forgetting if Julius Creed was... Well, I keep forgetting who all was drafted, because I did this draft this past Sunday. Okay, I just haven't seen Julius Creed, like, ever. And then Solo Sikoa versus Carl Anderson. Oh, Elite Undertaker wins. Talk about an upset victory. Freakin' Imperium wins. Tegan Knox wins. Cody Rhodes wins. Chris Danger wins. Peter Maivia wins. And Solo Sikoa wins. You know, I kind of hope Freakin' Imperium wins the tag titles at some point. Alright, Women's War Games is kicking off. Alundra Blaze, Kalani Jordan, Jade Cargill, and Blair Davenport take on Cora Jade, Kaden Carter, Cheek Tormenta, and Ren Sinclair. El Hijo del Vikingo once again gets a shot against Peter Maivia. Tegan Knox defends against Fallon Henley. Triple H versus Chris Danger. Elite Undertaker once again not cashing in. Is taking on LA Knight. DDP and Penta teaming up against Carlito and Rosie. Sure. Jaron Walker and Razor Ramon taking on Freakin' Imperium. Ministry of Bullets takes on Mattel Bloodline. Then we have... Hold on. So... You'll have Fatu teaming up with Apollo Crews and Fiend Minute Warning. But yet, you have Jaron Walker, who is the tag team partner of Apollo Crews, in just a random tag match. I mean, at least the other team, makes sense. So couldn't you have, like, Fatu team up with Razor Ramon? Alright, but Team Alundra Blaze wins. Excuse me. El Hijo del Vikingo wins back the Intercontinental Championship. Tegan Knox retains. Triple H beats Chris Danger. LA Knight, yeah, retains the WWE Championship. DDP and Penta, well, DDP 1998, because there's another DDP that was randomized to be in this universe mode. Freakin' Imperium meets one half of the Final Princes and Razor Ramon. Ministry of Bullets finally dethrones Mattel Bloodline. And EC316, Cody Rhodes, and Devon Dudley beat Fiend Minute Warning, the other half of Final Princess, and Fatu. Undertaker 98 versus Seth freaking Rollins. Fallon Henley and Melee Fanny Fan versus Alundra Blaze and Jade Cargill. Jasmine Nix versus Cora Jade. Macho Man versus Triple H. Carmen Petrovic versus Kaden Carter. Tegan Knox versus Sensational Sherry, who has Booker T, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Shawn Michaels in her corner. What is this? And then we got a banger of a main event. So you couldn't tell me that Prime, Penta, Cody Rhodes, and Undertaker would not put on a banger. That's a match I would love to see. However, we're on a random episode of SmackDown. I don't think it would make sense to watch it. Undertaker 1998 beats Seth freaking Rollins. I mean, it looks like they're going to be feuding for the tag titles, probably. Alundra Blaze and Jade Cargill win. Cora Jade wins. Macho Man wins. Kaden Carter wins. Tegan Knox wins. And Elite Undertaker wins. Elite Undertaker versus LA Knight. Macho Man versus Braun Breaker. Kalani Jordan versus Ren Sinclair. Penta versus Cody Rhodes. Jasmine Nix versus Kaden Carter versus Cora Jade. Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus Tonga Loa. And Undertaker versus Gunther. I'm in. That match would be incredible. Elite Undertaker wins. Macho Man Randy Savage wins. Kalani Jordan wins. Cody Rhodes wins. Kaden Carter wins. Dirty Dominic Mysterio wins. And Gunther beats The Undertaker. DDP 1998 versus El Hijo del Vikingo for the Intercontinental Championship. Penta versus Cody Rhodes. Jasmine Nix versus Jade Cargill. Joe Gacy versus Chris Danger. A freaking Imperium versus Ministry of Bullets. Dirty Dom versus Macho Man. Tegan Knox versus Cora Jade. And Elite Undertaker versus LA Knight. Look, I love tag team wrestling, so we have to watch a tag team match at one point. DDP 1998 is the new Intercontinental Champion. Cody Rhodes beats Penta. Jade Cargill beats Jasmine Nix. Chris Danger defeats Joe Gacy. Because I worked so hard. Well, I worked on these entrances. So, I want to showcase a couple of them.
Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, is the WWE World Tag Team Championship match.
And we are looking at WWE's top teams competing here in this one. But as we all know, there's only room for one team at the absolute top of the mountain.
Yes, I just went with the Ministry... No, not the Ministry of Darkness. It's the Brothers of Destruction. And I went with the Ministry Undertaker's theme song for the entrance. But then I was thinking, like, why am I adding theme songs if I'm just going to get copyrighted if I have them playing. Surprisingly, I was able to show off the entire Wyatt 6 storyline without getting any kind of copyright claims from 2K or WWE, because I heard they're both pretty particular when it comes to people using their content.
Will likely go a long way in proving which superstar will ultimately prove their dominance in this spirited rivalry.
You're probably right, Michael, but part of me wants this rivalry to never end. That's how great it's been to watch these guys go at it.
And their opponents, potentially my favorite team in this universe mode, is freaking Imperium. Like, when the... I'll be honest, when I was randomizing the teams, I was really hoping for LA Knight and Macho Man Randy Savage.
Huge title match coming up, and a huge opportunity for the champ to prove to everyone.
But I was so glad I got this team.
Better in all of WWE right now.
Because realistically, this could be like a two-man power trip. I know, these two could be, like, the furthest thing from being similar. But they both respect the business. And the day I'm filming this, isn't there a tag team title match going on SmackDown on July 7th, not 7th, 11th as I'm filming? Not as I'm filming, because I'll be streaming when SmackDown's on. SmackDown, July 11, 2025. Yes, it's the Street Profits versus the Wyatt 6.
And their opponents at a combined weight of 543 pounds. The team of The Undertaker.
And then there's going to be Jelly Roll. Ooh, R-Truth versus Aleister Black.
The goal is obtaining those tag team championships. Being on the same page will be vital in this one.
And also, when I was playing the island, there was something that I realized.
Undertaker and Carl Anderson, and they'll be in for one hell of a tag team match as they square.
Like, I'll point it out when it happens.
And here's where you gotta have the utmost faith in your partner, especially with the gold on the line. Corey, I don't think you would do well in one of these.
I've been a tag team champion, Saxton. Do your freaking research.
Man, this Undertaker is a giant, while none of the other ones are.
From Taker.
Gunther, you're not afraid of anyone. And besides, you just beat him on SmackDown.
Damage, but they certainly contributed. Lightning fast punches.
Showing absolutely no mercy at all. What an onslaught.
Gonna be agonizing for the arm. Connecting with a sharp elbow. Undertaker showcasing his merciless ways.
Gunther needs to cause some separation.
Now Gunther just needs to reverse a crap ton of his moves to get the Shield down.
Quick pin. Championship on the line. Elevates the shoulder. He thought he could get this thing finished fast. Ooh. Gunther didn't look too comfortable there.
Yeah, as The Undertaker once again impresses with his particular brand of athleticism.
Ooh, and fights back.
Yeah, like that.
There's a turnaround there because Gunther was falling behind.
Now's a chance for Gunther to get back into this match.
Okay, this is not what you're supposed to do.
The hardest part of the ring. Gunther falling victim to a surge of attacks here. Taker is digging another hole. And he gets delivered back into the ring.
Gunther, I recommend regrouping and tagging in Seth Rollins.
Anderson tags in. Oh, I heard a snap.
The champion doing everything to retain here. Kick out at one for the challenger. He's not letting fatigue set in or get the better of him. Carefully measured knee drop.
Was mounted with punches.
Gunther, you need to get Seth in.
And a stomp to the gut. Set him up for the Russian leg sweep.
Nicely done.
The challenger looking fairly run down at this stage.
And making a
There we go.
seem like a good idea right about now. He got it. Tag me.
Boom, nice.
Hey, you do realize Seth Rollins is the active participant, right?
Not a whole lot you can do with a bum wing, guys. Hooked up and backdrop suplex. Just swift movements from Carter.
Yeah, Rollins has hit a roadblock here.
Oh boy.
Undertaker has his opponent by the arm, going to climb to the top rope now, and Undertaker's about to go. When we talk about truly heated rivalries, this is exactly the level of intensity we mean.
Yeah, these supers.
The dead man has them hoisted up into...
Okay, I'm sure we're going to see it right.
Good night.
Consider your
Okay, so look at Gunther's health bar. There's a little stop sign with an X in it.
by the axe handle.
That means he can't come in until Seth Rollins tags him in. So if Seth Rollins is at a point where
Seth Rollins close to
he's getting pinned, Gunther can't help him.
Let's go to the hole, but I don't see any reason for it.
No telling what's going on in his mind right now, Michael.
There's a grab. The champion into the pin. He kicks out at two. And you gotta think
Yep,
he's just
Seth Rollins just used his resiliency.
taken out next time.
And why is it that whenever I say I have a favorite team that I
Reigns down an elbow retaliation.
like out of like anyone, they end up doing horrible.
DDT able to weave out. Clothesline.
Now clearing the announce desk. This isn't going to end well.
Seth, you can't win the titles by countout.
He doesn't have much time to get back in the ring.
He got in. He got in. Just avoiding the ref's count. Not a good spot to be in. right to the throat. And
There you
Carl
go.
his energy here. Tag. Drop.
Oh my god.
Oh, nothing fancy here. Tasted victory. Pin to decide the championship. We got a new champion. Strong kick out from the resilient champion. He didn't even let the ref start the count. A calculating look has come across Carl's face.
RKO.
With the gun stun.
Oh, gun stun.
Execution from the champ.
3-2 count. Title
Oh,
still
Seth.
I won't believe it.
You wasted
The
it.
challenger survived that.
by the skin of their teeth. And don't expect the champ to start going easy on him now. And it's going to take composure now. Could just need one more big move. Fatigue is setting in for the challenger. Yeah, he's absolutely...
Yeah, I don't see freaking Imperium winning.
Oh, ouch. Precarious position for both superstars. Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness.
But I would be down to do like a part 2.
Down to opponent and a double axe handle smash. This battle's found its way.
Or
right
I
to
get
our
like a
doorstep.
bigger roster.
Whip back
I
to the
label
ring.
all of them. And then I just put them all into it and do like a little series on it.
Oh, the physicality on display there. Unbelievable. Placing him in the corner. He's in a bad spot on that turnbuckle. One step ahead there.
Hey, his shield is down.
These men have shown no indication of staying down.
Their guts, their fire won't allow them to give up.
Arm extended, tags his teammate in.
Good golly, Miss Molly.
Here's the snapmare.
Followed by the knee drop.
That'll fracture an orbital.
You know, this is really embarrassing when you know that Seth Rollins and Gunther are former world champions.
A nice shot by the Undertaker. Now, one of the best
I mean, yeah, The Undertaker's a former world champion as well. But Carl Anderson has only been a tag team champion and 24/7 champion in WWE. Okay, Gunther, now's the time.
Here's the pin and keeps his partner alive.
Sorry, the Hot Chocolate's really good.
The dead man with an arm wringer into the... Look at the power. The challenger struggling for anything here. At this point in the match, there's no time to recover. The damage is done.
Working to neutralize that arm. Carl Anderson wants to
First up top. Knee drop. There's electricity running through this arena right now. Will it be the spark for one of these competitors?
and slamming their
Rollins, try to get Gunther in the ring. Excuse me.
Got the leg and dropping the elbow. Rollins getting worked on here.
Because Gunther has a signature and a finisher.
Placed against the turnbuckles. Boom! What a right. Carl showing no
Gunther, punch him.
no
Oh
intimidation.
god.
Crushing impact corner.
a couple back elbows to follow.
Carl gets jolted by the counter. O'Connor rolls, shoulders are down. Shoulders are down. To retain.
Got it, and they stay atop the tag division.
And the Ministry of Bullets
Here are your winners,
retain.
and still the WWE Tag Team Champions. The team of The Undertaker and Carl Anderson.
And they get the win, thanks in large part to Carl Anderson.
That's about as perfect an example of tag team wrestling you're ever likely to see.
Yeah, it was an amazing match, but hold on. What do they mean by modified match on the next one? I did nothing to that. Oh. Uh. Ah. Okay, yeah. I get it now. It's a cash-in. And Carmen Petrovic fails her cash-in. Wait, oh no. Hold on. I didn't want to watch the match.
Anytime this title is defended.
Come on.
You're not.
Alright, and who wins? Elite Undertaker wins back the WWE Championship. Alright, hold on. I don't know what happened to the menu. Oh. You know, like the place where it shows like what button's what? There we go. Now, did that count as a cash-in? Alright, E. Oh, well, it... Oh, I'm gonna have to check on SmackDown. Okay, roster championships. Yes, he's still Mr. Money in the Bank. Okay, so Ministry of Bullets versus freaking Imperium. Karen Petrovic versus Tegan Knox. Jade Cargill versus Jasmine Nix. Chris Sabin versus Triple H. Fallon Henley has a self-promo. Blair Davenport, all on Triple H, Cheek Tormenta, and Mealy Fanny Fan have a fatal four-way. And then Yokozuna versus Elite Undertaker. Alright, so Ministry of Bullets win. Carmen wins. Jasmine wins. Triple H wins. Fallon Henley had a promo. All on Triple H wins. And Elite Undertaker wins. It doesn't mention like win-loss record here. Well, I was kind of hoping it did. Yeah, but anyway. Oh. I don't know. Okay, Cody Rhodes versus Chris Sabin. Carmen Petrovic versus Kalani Jordan. Tegan Knox versus Jasmine Nix. Ministry of Bullets versus Fiend Minute Warning. Sensational Sherry and Cora Jade versus Fallon Henley and Kaden Carter. Macho Man versus Chris Danger. And then Triple H versus Penta. Chris Sabin wins. Carmen Petrovic wins. Tony Anna Tegan Knox. I don't know how I messed up that bad. Tegan Knox won. Carl Anderson and Undertaker of the Ministry of Bullets wins. Sensational Sherry and Cora Jade win. Macho Man wins. And Penta wins. Welcome to SmackDown New Year's Revolution. Alright, Jade Cargill versus Tegan Knox for the Women's World Championship. Kaden Carter and Fallon Henley versus Cora Jade and Sensational Sherry. Final Princes versus Fiend Minute Warning. Baron Corbin gets an Intercontinental Championship match against DDP 98. Carmen Petrovic versus Kalani Jordan. EC316 versus Ministry of Bullets for the tag titles, and Macho Man versus Elite Undertaker for the WWE Championship. Tegan Knox retains. Cora Jade and Sensational Sherry wins. Fiend Minute Warning wins. DDP 98 retains. Carmen Petrovic wins. Ministry of Bullets retain. As well as Elite Undertaker. Alright, Randy Orton versus Dirty Dom. Penta versus Chris Sabin. Blair Davenport versus Tegan Knox. Ministry of Bullets versus Fiend Minute Warning. Promo between Kalani Jordan and Carmen Petrovic. Final Princess versus freaking Imperium. And then Elite Undertaker versus Macho Man versus Triple H versus Cody Rhodes. Dirty Dom wins. Penta wins. Tegan Knox wins. Ministry of Bullets wins. Kalani Jordan won the promo battle. Freaking Imperium wins. And Triple H wins. So then there's this SmackDown, the next SmackDown, and then the Royal Rumble. Ooh, Penta versus Razor Ramon. Dirty Dom versus Macho Man. Carmen Petrovic versus Kalani Jordan. Undertaker 98. Wait, no, okay. Ministry of Bullets versus Fiend Minute Warning. I gotta remember tag team names. Blair Davenport has a promo with Tegan Knox. Cora Jade versus Sensational Sherry. And Elite Undertaker versus Triple H. Alright, Penta wins. Dirty Dom wins. Carmen Petrovic wins. Ministry of Bullets win. Tegan Knox wins the promo. Sensational Sherry wins. And Triple H beats Mr. Money in the Bank and WWE Champion Elite Undertaker. I'm gonna make an announcement. I know we're not at Elimination Chamber yet, but it will be, and both chamber matches will be for the titles. So, I'll take the champion plus the top 5 number 1 contenders. Well, no, the top 5 contenders. Because there's only one number 1 contender. Anyway, Ministry of Bullets versus freaking Imperium. Jade Cargill versus Cora Jade. Blair Davenport and Tegan Knox versus Caden Carter and Millie Fanny Fan. Elite Undertaker versus Dirty Dom versus Joe Gacy. Final Princess versus Mattel Bloodline. Carmen Petrovic versus Cheek Tormenta. And Triple H versus Penta. Alright, well, Ministry of Bullets won, Cora Jade won, Caden and Fanny won, Elite Undertaker won, Final Princess won, Carmen Petrovic won, and Triple H won. And now we are at the Royal Rumble. I know we won't have enough women for a 30-woman Rumble. Yeah, there's a 10-woman Rumble. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture for each Rumble winner, so I can make sure they get their title shots. Tegan Knox versus Blair Davenport for the Women's Championship. Fatu versus Julius Creed. Thrasher versus Wolfgang. Man, I keep forgetting that we have some people on this roster. Macho Man versus Elite Undertaker. Chris Danger versus Mosh. Carmen Petrovic versus Kalani Jordan. DDP versus DDP 98. Who do you think is going to win this match? And then the men's rumble. Even though it's very tempting, I'm not gonna watch it. So then, Sensational Sherry will be going to WrestleMania. Tegan Knox retains. Fatu won. Thrasher won. Elite Undertaker retains. Chris Danger wins. Carmen Petrovic wins. DDP 98 retains. And then Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes wins. And now we are on the road to WrestleMania. But the road to WrestleMania stops. Well, it stops through Elimination Chamber. Jaron Walker versus Carl Anderson. Braun Breaker versus Rocky Maivia versus Randy Orton. Cora Jade versus Caden Carter. Freaking Imperium versus EC316. Chris Danger versus Tonga Loa. Mosh versus DDP 98. And Elite Undertaker versus Triple H. Carl Anderson wins. Randy Orton wins. Caden Carter wins. Freaking Imperium gets the win. Chris Danger wins. DDP wins. And Elite Undertaker wins. So once we hit Elimination Chamber, that's when I'll check the power rankings. Well, not the power rankings, the divisions. Elite Undertaker versus Triple H. Chris Danger versus Randy Orton. Caden Carter versus Cora Jade. Excuse me. Fiend Minute Warning. Versus freaking Imperium. Mosher versus Thrasher. And Mosh versus Thrasher. Tegan Knox versus Kalani Jordan. And Undertaker 98 versus Apollo Crews. Elite Undertaker wins. Randy Orton wins. Caden Carter wins. Freaking Imperium with the back-to-back victories. Mosh wins. Tegan Knox wins. And Undertaker 98 wins. Then we're heading to SmackDown once again. Ooh, Randy Orton versus Chris Danger versus Cody Rhodes versus Razor Ramon. Cora Jade versus Kaden Carter. Apollo Crews was a still promo. Freaking Imperium versus Mattel Bloodline. Fanny and Ren Sinclair versus Carmen Petrovic and Fallon Henley. Tegan Knox versus Sensational Sherry and Elite. Undertaker versus Chris Sabin. Cody Rhodes won. There's a draw between Cora and Kaden. Apollo Crews had a good sell promo. Freaking Imperium, 3 wins in a row. Yeah. Fanny and Ren win. Tegan Knox win, and Elite Undertaker wins. The go-home show before Elimination Chamber. Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. Kaden Carter versus Cora Jade. Chris Danger versus Razor Ramon. Elite Undertaker versus Braun Breaker. Triple H versus Rocky Maivia. Freaking Imperium versus EC316. And Final Princess versus Ministry of Bullets. Cody Rhodes wins. Kaden Carter wins. Chris Danger wins. Braun Breaker wins. Triple H wins. EZ316 wins. And Ministry of Bullets win. Okay, well... Okay, so... Okay, so I go here, here, then edit divisions. So, Cody Rhodes is not getting a title shot at the moment. So, it will be Macho Man Randy Savage, Chris Danger, Penta, LA Knight, and Razor Ramon, as well as the Undertaker, well, Elite Undertaker. Then, Sensational Sherry is not getting a title match yet, either. It'll be Jade Cargill, Alba Fire, Alundra Blaze, Carmen Petrovic, Fallon Henley, and Tegan Knox. Which means... edit matches. So, I'll edit this match. Okay, so... Man, Blair Davenport only got 1 win. Alright, but anyway... This is Jade Cargill, who is 15-10. Alright, Cheek Tormenta is number 8 on the ranking. So let's find Alba Fire. Yeah, Carmen Petrovic is there. Alundra Blaze is there. Ren Sinclair does not make it. Okay, it's, wait, no! Edit match. I just need to edit... Oh, no, not you. Ren Sinclair. Because it's Tegan Knox. So then I'll do... Yeah, I'll keep Sensational Sherry in the match. And I'll take Tegan Knox out of it and put Ren Sinclair in there. Okay, yeah, neither of them were in the match. Neither of them were in that match either. So, Cody versus Undertaker is gonna have to change. Oh, hold on. Okay, so... Customize participants. Okay, so this is Macho Man. Then we have Chris Danger. Wait, no, hold on. Yeah, LA Knight stays. Triple H does not make the cutoff. But Penta did. Tonga Loa, unfortunately, did not make the cutoff either. However, Razor Ramon did. And the last one is Elite Undertaker. Alright, so then... Yeah, this match will have to change. So... You know, Randy stays, Chris Danger is going to be replaced by Triple H. Oh, wait. And then I'm gonna try to humble Cody Rhodes. 46-6. My goodness, Elite Undertaker. Okay, hold on. And Carlito was 0-5, so is Corbin. Man, 20-13. Wow. 5-10, 0-1, 0-3. Wow. Okay, well, Tonga Loa. All right. So the winner of this will face Sensational Sherry at WrestleMania, and the winner of this will face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Oh. There we go. Okay. Tegan Knox retains the title. So she will face Sensational Sherry, who won her match against Ren Sinclair. Triple H beats Randy Orton. Kalani Jordan defeats Jasmine Nix. Cody Rhodes defeats Tonga Loa. Kaden Carter defeats Cora Jade. Baron Corbin is your new Intercontinental Champion. Ministry of Bullets defeat Final Princess. And then L.A. Knight, wins back the WWE Championship. Okay, so hold on. No, not edit matches. Edit rivalries. That's what I'm going for. Yeah, roster rivalries. Yeah, let's go high intensity for Sensational Sherry and Tegan Knox. And then a high-intensity rivalry. You can still only do 1-on-1 and 2-on-2 between Cody Rhodes and L.A. Knight. You know, I might just make it a triple threat where Undertaker is cashing in. Or maybe I'll just see if he cashes in during the match. Alright. Ministry of Bullets versus Mattel Bloodline. Freaking Imperium versus Easy 316. Braun Breaker versus Joe Gacy. LA Knight in a promo. I'm assuming Cody's going to answer. Fanny versus Alundra Blaze. Triple H versus Chris Danger. And Tegan Knox versus Sensational Sherry. Mattel Bloodline gets the win over the tag team champions. Easy 316 beats the team that I called my favorite. Freaking Imperium. Joe Gacy wins. LA Knight. Oh, nope. Julius Creed. I'm assuming it was like an open challenge or something. Yes, open challenge. Okay, well. Oh, there was a promo between Sensational Sherry and Tegan Knox. It's not a match. Okay. So Sensational Sherry won that. Triple H won his match. Alundra Blaze won her match. Okay. Alright, Randy Orton versus the Elite Undertaker versus Chris Sabin. Alba Fire versus Sensational Sherry. Macho Man versus Rocky Maivia. Triple H versus Joe Gacy. Kaden and Kalani versus Alundra and Cheek. Yokozuna versus Dominic Mysterio versus Penta versus Tonga Loa. And then Cody Rhodes is in a handicap match against Fatu and Thrasher in the main event. Well, Randy Orton wins. Sensational Sherry defeats Alba Fire. Macho Man wins. Joe Gacy wins. Alundra Blaze and Cheek Tormento win. Yokozuna wins. And Cody Rhodes wins his match. And we're approaching WrestleMania. Triple H versus Randy Orton. Tegan Knox versus Sensational Sherry. Joe Gacy versus Penta. Yokozuna versus Macho Man. Alundra Blaze versus Cheek Tormenta. Ministry of Bullets versus EC316. And Cody Rhodes versus Ivar. Yeah, I think Ivar is just making his debut. Triple H wins. Tegan Nox wins. Penta wins. Yokozuna wins. Alundra Blaze wins. Ministry of Bullets wins. And Cody Rhodes beats Ivar. Oh, there's still more. LA Knight and Cody Rhodes are taking on the Final Princes. AZ316 versus Ministry of Bullets. Alba Fire versus Caden Carter. Tegan Nox in a promo battle with Sensational Sherry. Chris Danger versus Randy Orton. Yokozuna versus Chris Sabin versus Macho Man versus Joe Gacy. And then Penta versus Triple H. LA Knight and Cody Rhodes get the win. EZ316 beat the tag champs. Alba Fire wins. Tegan Nox wins the promo battle. Randy Orton wins. Yokozuna wins. And Triple H wins. So this should be the final. Yep, this is the go home SmackDown before WrestleMania. So then we have Randy Orton versus Yokozuna, Penta versus Tonga Loa, Tegan Nox versus Cora Jade, Ministry of Bullets versus EC316, Alba Fire versus Fallon Henley, Alundra Blaze and Jasmine Nix versus Carmen Petrovic and Caden Carter, and Cody Rhodes versus LA Knight. Randy wins. Penta wins, Cora Jade wins, EZ316 wins, Alba Fire wins, Alundra Blaze and Jasmine Nix wins, and Cody Rhodes wins. And we are on night 1 of WrestleMania. Sensational Sherry and Tegan Nox kick off night 1. Then Randy Orton and Braun Breaker, Cheek Tormenta, Cora Jade, and Blair Davenport take on Jasmine Nix, Alundra Blaze, and Jade Cargill. Alba Fire takes on Kalani Jordan. EZ316 challenge Ministry of Bullets for the tag titles. Fallon Henley versus Carmen Petrovic. Freaking Imperium takes on Fiend Minute Warning. And then Triple H and Penta in a Hell in a Cell match. We're as tempted as I am to watch it, we're not watching it. Because this video is already long enough. Alright, Tegan Nox retains. Randy Orton wins. Team Cora wins. Alba Fire wins. Eric Bischoff and Stone Cold defeat Undertaker and Carl Anderson. How did EC316 pull it off? Fallon Henley wins. Fiend Minute Warning wins, and Triple H wins. Then the final night of WrestleMania, which will end the video. DDP 98 is challenging Baron Corbin. Okay. So, Looks like Solo Sikoa broke away from the Mattel bloodline because Alpha and Elite Undertaker are taking on the Final Princes, Rocky Maivia and Ivar, and Solo Sikoa and Chris Sabin. Chris Danger versus Joe Gacy, Brent Sinclair versus Fanny, Yokozuna versus Dirty Dom, William Regal versus Rosie, Macho Man versus Razor Ramon, and Cody Rhodes versus L.A. Knight. Yeah. Okay, let's simulate to the match. You know, I love how for these 2-night events, they always put 2 titles on one show and 2 on the other. Like, if you only have, like, 4 titles. Alright, so Baron Corbin retains. Alpha and Elite Undertaker of the Mattel Bloodline win. Chris Danger wins. Fanny wins. Dirty Dom wins. Rosie wins. Macho Man wins. And then Cody Rhodes versus LA Knight is right now.
The following is scheduled for one fall and is for the WWE Championship. The American Nightmare is here, ready to enter battle. A fearless competitor. The WWE Universe inspires Cody to fight every night.
And Cody Rhodes is ready for any challenge at any time.
Alright.
This is the man who ended Roman Reigns' historical 1,316-day reign as undisputed WWE champion. Some might say Cody finished the story.
And now the American Nightmare sits atop the mountain in our industry.
We got Cody Rhodes and LA Knight with the possibility of The Undertaker cashing in.
Soon became a star who left them all in the dust. He fights every night to make his family, make his father proud.
Well, I think they'll be even prouder after his match tonight.
He's been waiting a very long time for this title opportunity. I hope he's ready.
Listen to this frenzy for L.A. Knight.
If any dummies out there don't know,
That championship looks amazing around his waist.
At WrestleMania? Yeah.
don't get things twisted. He's not having a WrestleMania moment. WrestleMania is having an L.A. Knight moment. Knight has proven he belongs on the grandest stage of them all. Everyone said his name after he beat AJ Styles. Because Knight is always at his best when the lights are bright. And they've never been brighter than they are
Well,
at
I love
WrestleMania.
this design of the WWE Championship. But this one right here is my favorite.
Well, the roar of the crowd tells you all you need to know. The people are behind L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Alright, let's just get to the
A
match.
title coveted by legends.
After plenty of hype in social media chatter, the bell's finally been rung on this championship match. The time for talk is over. These superstars are ready to settle this and determine who gets to hold the title.
Hold on, so what if I pause it? Okay, I guess there's no option like in the old universe mode. Well, I don't remember which universe mode it was, but there was an option where you could like auto-select the cash-in.
Connects after another.
The champ just striking at will. Merciless display towards the challenger.
Oh, no. Shoulders down. Championship at stake. He throws his shoulder up before two. He isn't going to go away that easy. Oh, what a clubbing blow. Corey, obviously you can't come into a match against Cody Rhodes thinking he's going to be easy pickings. Time to go to school.
Victor for a leg lock applied.
Gotta find an escape. There it was. Look at this. This can't be good. Oh, right to the throat. Ooh. Letting him get to a standing base.
You know, I hope LA Knight actually gets a push with with one of the world titles.
The challenger enduring the punishment. Yeah, that right there was Knight's smash mouth style we always talk about. Crushing the hamstring. Crushing a hamstring. An endless bombardment from the champion. The challenger has to be rocked. Targeting the arm now.
LA Knight kick to the
BFT.
This might be it.
Oh, man, this might be it. Two. Still in this. The title hangs in the balance. The champion's shock is palpable.
The champ will have to dig deeper now.
I think there's still some shock in the air over the fact that that didn't produce a pinfall.
You know, I'm surprised that Cody hasn't even gotten a single title shot until now. I mean, yeah, he did get one at Elimination Chamber, but that's because he won the Rumble. It should have been set for WrestleMania.
Caught in a bad spot. Oh, bang! Face first. He's able to reverse it.
Cody Rhodes finding a way to slow his opponent's assault down.
Cody Rhodes tipping the scales a bit here. Tossed back into the ring. Using the ropes.
Disaster kick.
Roundhouse kick.
Crossroads.
Crossroads.
Could that be enough to gain the title?
And then quickly the cover.
Two. Kick out, kick out. The champion stays alive. I can't believe it. We were a second away from a new champion.
Are we close to the start of a new reign?
You gotta wonder what more Cody has to do to put him away here.
Oof. Boom.
He's climbing the turnbuckles to the top. Looking for something big here. Blast off.
Look out below.
Trying to do as much damage as humanly possible.
But at what cost? Rolling into a monkey flip.
Alright, let's get in the ring. I don't want this to end in a count out. If anything, I want it to end in a triple threat.
He's slow to get up and unaware of the massive target on his back.
Springboard drop kick. And Rhodes continuing his charge. Yeah, Cody Rhodes is clearly in control. Caught him.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Pedigree. Resiliency in 1, 2. Yep,
This
right
is
there.
going to come down to who wants it more.
Cody looking to wrap this one up. Cody Rhodes.
And there's no kicking out of this one.
Oh, we headed towards a title change. Two. And we have a new champion. Unbelievable.
Okay, well, I guess there's no cash in. Alright. So I'm just gonna skip over to SmackDown because I want to see the win-loss record of everyone. Alright, so we're gonna edit matches. So let's start off with A. Alright, so Alpha 22-13, Apollo Crews 5-15, Ashanti Theodonis 0-3, Baron Corbin 2-5, Boogeyman 0-2, Braun Breaker 5-11, Carlito 0-5, Chris Danger 9-14, Chris Sabin is 4-14, Cody Rhodes is 28-12, Devon Dudley is 1-3, DDP is 2-3, DDP 98 is 5-6, Dirty Dom is 6-9, nice. El Hijo del Vikingo is 15-4, Elite Undertaker is 48-8, Eric Bischoff is 19-13. Fatu is 1-3. The Fiend is 4-20. Gunther is 13-14. High Chief Peter Maivia is 5-7. Ivar is 0-2. Jamal is 2-16. Jaren is 4-13. Joe Gacy is 8-15. Julius Creed is 0-3. Carl Anderson is 23-13. LA Knight is 13-17. Macho Man is 11-16. Mosh is 5-4. Penta is 7-13. Randy Orton is 8-14. Razor Ramon is 5-16. Rocky Maivia is 2-16. Rosie is 1-3. Seth Rollins is 13-15. Solo Sikoa is 22-12. Stone Cold is 22-13. Thrasher is 2-3. Tonka Loa is 4-13. Triple H is 17-15. Undertaker 98 is 24-13. William Regal 0-4. Wolfgang 0-1. And Yokozuna is 8-12. And then for the women, Alba Fire is 14-14. Alundra Blaze is 18-15. Blair Davenport is 2-13. Cheek Tormento is 10-14. Cora Jade is 11-19. Fallon Henley is 6-14. Jade Cargill is 15-12. Jasmine Nix is 6-19. Carmen Petrovic is 11-16. Caitlin Carter is 11-13. Kalani Jordan is 12-18. Fanny's 11-11. Sensational Sherry is 21-15. Tegan Knox is 28-11. And Ren Sinclair is 8-14. You know, I absolutely enjoy doing this experiment. Like, yeah, I've done randomized universe modes before. I've just never made videos on them. But yeah, if you want to see a season 2 with a whole new roster, well, I can't guarantee it'll be a whole new roster, but I think this would be fun to do again. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching the video. Please like, share, subscribe, comment any other video ideas you have for the future, and I'll catch you in the next one.